Currently, I'm not sure there are how many members there are joined for the previous sessions. However, it is better to summarize our project purpose. And the purpose of the trainings is to provide the training and supplementary guidance for the route planning selections of the LPTRP manual. And currently you say the draft versions of the LPTRP manual is there shared with us, and currently we are reviewing it. And I suppose that to the next week's sessions, and I would like you to discuss about but the next week sessions, I will conduct some review on the LPTRP manual, which was drafted last weeks. And as well as the last sessions, I would like you to start the recap on the previous sessions, which was conducted on not March, April. Yes, and in the previous sessions, we have some comments or questions about regarding the supply side public transport informations. And yes, from the DOTr PTMP, and someone asked, and the delay due to traffic unavoidable for the route-based public transport. And if traffic congestions, is getting worse, then do they update the public transport operators the timetable and the schedule of the routes? If so, how often do you update to their such kind of change of the traffic conditions? Yes. And currently I'm summarize there as follows. And the travel schedules are usually prepared with the potential delays, and which was caused by the traffic congestion. So that usually even if the travel time is usually 5 minutes, then sometimes the public transport operators schedules the travel times with 7 minutes. And if some bus stops with sufficient spaces, and the travel time adjustments are made. So sometimes there are customers or citizens complain this bus waiting for the very too long times. Yes, but this is to absorb and adjust such kind of travel scheduled travel times with their actual travel time. So by the way, so the early departure affects of the scheduled times are strictly prohibited by the law in Japan. So the bus always bus operator says delay is affordable, delay is acceptable. However, early departure must be prohibited. And of course, even if the delay occurs regularly, the timetable is revised periodically. And I'm not sure. So, however, such kind of revisions of the time schedules is changed, is made by every 3 months or half years or annually. And can you share the information, Otsuka-san? In how
yes.
about previous how often the travel times?
Okay, thank you so much. According to my experience in bus companies in Japan, I think basically we should say it's kind of annually, but regarding to the number of passengers increasing or decreasing by developing some apartment houses or those kind of regional areas, we changed the timetables like half a year like that. So I think the one Dr. Futose mentions every 6 months or annually is acceptable in Japan. Thank you so much.
I see. Thank you so much. And the right figure I shared is but this is the example for the revisions of the timetables. And the black big lines is the previous original schedules. Yes, original schedule is set 8 o'clock. The depart the origin terminals and passing some major bus stops and taking the standard time adjustments and arrive at the 8:35 at the destination stations. However, according to the standard, the operational records, the significant delay is very observed frequently. So that when they're utilizing the GPS informations and the travel time, scheduled travel time is revised as shown in the blue line. So the currently there, due to the developments of AI or the machine learning theories, so there's such kind of travel time divisional systems is highly developed. So even in some Japanese local operators, such kind of technology is introduced to revise the public transport operation schedule automatically. こんなこと話してたら2時間かかる。Next, please. Yes, and this one is the same. Same person asks some questions. Is the operational data being collected by the government of Japan or city governments? If yes, how often do you require operators to submit this data, and how do you utilize the data to make informed decisions? Yes, and this previous sessions I share the same figure. However, this is the translated versions of the annual operating report of the public transport operators, address, operators' names, and the name of the representative, and the operational status, including the number of operating buses, number of employees, and routes, and the number of operating routes, and the competing operators, if there. And the detailed information is very important, and the operating revenue and the expenditure balance sheet is also need to be submitted. And this is the required information to correct anytime any kind of financial support from the public. Because if there is such kind of financial information is unclear, there is no evidence to assure the necessity to get some financial or any kind of support. And based on such kind of information, yes, then the route alignment and the number of trips and sometimes the passenger volumes also can be visualized. And the public sites also will utilize such kind of information to conduct the local public transport route plannings in Japan also. So there is a missing link in the Metro Manila, yes, for the route planning and the public transport route operating information, I suppose. And the next one is this one is from also DOTr and PTRP. And since the fare rate is based on the free distributed cost method, then does it mean that the fare varies per route in Japan? And because in the Philippines, the LTFRB sets a fare mainly based on the fuel prices. And do you think FDC can be implemented to set the fare rates here in the Philippines? Yes, and at this chance, I would like to introduce the FDC methods and somehow in details. And the FDC is to estimate the operating cost to run the public transport bus for business and with the reasonable business profit. And you can see for the public transport operating cost it consists of the salary for their employees and the fuel expenses and the vehicle repair and the maintenance and some of the general management expenses and sometimes the taxes and the public dues are must be included. And one of the characteristics of the FDC is to include some business reward, sometimes which is 5 to 10% of the operating cost. And according to the FDC calculation method, so you can estimate the operation cost of the public transport bus in Metro Manila is just assume 9,000 Philippine peso. And when you the 10% of the reward is taken account, so the FDC of the public bus is 9,900. Nepal, not Nepal, Philippine peso. Sorry. And the total passenger, and then the total passenger volume is just assumed to the 3,000 pax per kilometers. And if the fare rate is just 3 Philippine peso per kilometers, you know that there is some fixed different fare setting policy applied. For example, up to 5 kilometers from peso, such kind of fare rate is assumed. However, when just simply assumes the fare rate is 3 Philippine peso per kilometers, the total fare revenue shall be 9,000. It means there is a gap of the 900 peso. So that in that cases, the two make a balance between the operational cost and the operational revenue. So the fare rate shall be revised to the 3.3 Philippine peso per kilometer. But this is the estimation method for the FDC based on the FDC. And the questionnaire states that the LTFRB sets the fare mainly based on the fuel. But this is partly the cost structures of the bus operators. And the first one, lower pie chart showing that Japan, yes. And in Japan, there are 54%, more than half is considered by the labor cost, including the drivers and the passengers. And in the so-called in other emerging countries, so the fuel, the share of by the fuel is much higher than the other Japan or other countries. So in that cases, so that it can be concluded that the public transport operational cost is highly related to the fuel prices. So just taking the fare prices as the basis of the fare settings is also sometimes reasonable. However, you know that so-called the labor cost, unit labor cost is increasing, so gradually. So it is, and you can see due to the fuel crisis in the countries, so some government or public transport operators are eager to introduce the EV. In that cases, so the structures must be different since the current conditions. So considering the more comprehensive information to correct the fare settings is much more reasonable, I suppose. And this one is the outline of the FDC. Yes, and but this is according to the comparisons of the FDCs by every bus operators in the area. So the standard cost is estimated. Then this one is a little bit complicated. However, one of the rules, so the appropriate cost to be used in the calculation of the cost is recognized. And one of the characteristics of the FDC is for there is a gap, there is a difference for the cost settings for the inefficient operators, which is the actual cost is higher than the standard cost. In that cases, so for example, if the standard cost is 100 and there are some operators expenses the 150, but this operator needs to submit the travel cost is just 100. This is the same with the standard cost. On the other hand, for some efficient operator, which the actual cost is much lower than the standard cost, then in that case, the cost for the efficient operators can submit the operating cost higher than the standard cost. But through such mechanisms, competition, yes, competition among the operators are enhanced. And this is based on the average fare rate, and then there are applies for the higher fare rate is applied for the shorter travel times. So this is just the examples in Japan, yes. And up to the 10 kilometers, the standard fare rate is applied. And when the travel distance is longer, so the more a little bit lower fare rate is applied. And this is just now we found the examples, the unit bus operating cost in Tohoku region. This is a very rural area in Japan. And this is very Japanese, so now I translate it into English. And there are some revenue is summarized by the any major public transport operators in the block. And according to this information, so the standard fare rate will be decided. So compared with such kind of standard fare rate, standard operating cost, the public transport operators are enforced to effort to reduce the unit operational expenditures. And this is just the references. There is a gap. Yes, and just there before around just after the World War II. So how the public transport fare ratio is changed, is visualized. And after the World War II, so due to the insufficient goods for every goods, so the gasoline prices also gas prices also hiked rapidly, and the so-called the general price index also increased. Like this, but through watching such kind of informations, and the public transport fare also changed gradually. But however, the passenger is very sensitive about such kind of fare hike. So the change of the fare prices is much moderate than the other prices. So the gap is must be followed up by the financial support by the government. And this one is just in some the international agencies compare the price of water and the public transport fare. And you can see that there is a very high correlations between the water prices and the public transport fare. And the Philippines is showing the very lower values. However, the public transport fare is much cheaper than the water prices. So the internationally, the public transport fare in Philippines is low. So this one is also one of the characteristics of the cost structures of public transport in Philippines. And the JICA person says the bus operation in Nagoya side, the most bus routes except the BRT were not financially feasible. Yes, and say so. And yes, and all, most of all public transport route in Nagoya City is showing the not profitable. Yeah, and the company, so the government has to subsidize because the public transport is public for the public goods. And you can see, and but it is better to share some the differences informations. And Nagoya City is the capital of the Aichi prefectures, and this area is considered as the so-called central metropolitan area. Yes, and Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya is considered as the three major metropolitan areas. However, one of the another characteristics is Nagoya is very near to the Toyota cities. Yes, you know that there is a headquarters of Toyota automobiles, reflecting this geological characteristics. So the vehicles per household is much higher than the other major metropolitan areas, and the road area, land area is also much higher. And the modal share is also the private car is showing the 40%. So that based on this information, so the public transport in Nagoya State is showing the very financially not profitable. So the government needs to support. But this one is also one of the characteristics of the Nagoya cities. So the some participants think so the Japan is developed in terms of the public transport operations. However, Nagoya City is not, and other so-called rural or local metropolitan area is not so public transport oriented cities. But this one is also needs to consider. So there, in the chance of the study tour, yes, I would like you to run characteristics in detail. However, unfortunately, it is postponed. So that I hope so that you will have a next chance. And then aside from the internal subsidization by the operators, deflected route subsidized by the government to the point that the operator is not at a loss. And yes, and so this one I want to introduce some other cases, shuttle bus service which a city has operated. However, practically the city has outsourced the operations to the private operator. This is their previous workplaces of Otsuka-san. Yes, and you can see this is the Hiratsuka station's hometown of Chika-san, and I also stay here. And my home is around here. And however, the northern side, and there is a railway station is to be there. However, there is out of the catchment area of the public transport, the railway transport, and the two make connections between the major hospitals. Yes, this point is showing meanings the major hospitals around the area, and to mitigate the car dependence especially for the elderly people. They are the core users of such hospital medical facilities. And you know there as a one of the social program. Yes, elderly people. And however, it is very difficult for the elderly people and causing the serious traffic accidents. So the to mitigate such kind of risks. So it is not financially visible for the public transport operator. However, the government they're outsourced that kind of operation to the private operators. And one of the characteristics of such kind of service, city says that if the city's expenses per total cost exceeds 75%, the city consider options for the service, including the discontinuation of the service. If the public transport ridership is much lower than their expectations, so the city says city will stop such kind of operation. So the cities enhanced to use such kind of their city shuttle service. So this is the characteristics of the public city managed public transport routes, and you can compare with the every time I say it, QC bus service. Yes. So if such kind of service is necessary or not, and financially must financially not feasible. However, how to support the public transport operations is one of the very critical issues in the cities all over the world.